We're about to lose one. Get the intruder.
Copy. We're almost there.
Security breach.
Attacking the area.
Security breach.
Shit, I've got movement. Where? Everywhere. Contact!
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Good to have you here. It's Wyatt Hurts. It's some more Spies versus Mercs gameplay. However, because of some interest generated in the comments from guys who wanted to see some more classic, I've made an attempt to get a little bit more up here. This was probably one of my best spy rounds in the classic game mode to date. There was just something about it. I had a really great time. Now let's take a look at competition level first off here. Myself, pretty experienced, okay? There's a guy on the other team I had played with last round, level 56, named Sin Life, or Sin Life. And, there he is right there, putting down the hacker in A, putting down my teammate Ryom in A. He's level 56. I know that guy's got some skill, Now, Ryom, he was like, a middle-of-the-field player, a little experienced, still a little wet behind the ears. He's my teammate. I think he was like a level 24 or something, but he could hold his own, he wasn't dominating, but he could hold his own. And the last guy is Alias Legion, and he's on the other team, and I had also played a couple of rounds with him and against him, and knew that he was, about as new as you get in this game. You could just tell a lot of rookie mistakes, so things are a little matched in our favor. And that's going to come into play a little bit later on. But anyway, a nice opportunity. I saw the window to get in here on this B terminal, while the real threat was over in A after having just still guarding that terminal after having dealt with Ryom there. And I just kind of settle in, nothing too fancy, nothing too creative. I have nice lines of sight here. I'm watching for the flashlight to come up on that ladder or to come over in that area as well. I get the smoke grenade up. I knew somebody was stomping, was kind of scanning that lower ground, and there's Sin Life coming up here now. I drew attention to myself maybe a little prematurely. I got the zap his way. I'm not sure if I hit it though. No, I did hit it. It gave me the opportunity to get away without eating a bullet. There is basically how it went down. But he followed pretty quickly and took out Ryom. So I kind of lured him into my teammate there, and whether that played out well for me, well, we'll never really know. I think maybe Sin thought that the man he initially saw, the man who zapped him, myself, maybe he thought that that was actually Ryom, the man he put down, and he just kind of went on his way at that point. You can see him over there on the other side of the room now, and I just continue to shift, and this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. Use the shadows, just keep moving around the room. So long as you have a good sense of where the mercs are at any given time, watching for the flashlight, and just kind of keeping track of them and trying to set up in locations that not only give you good cover, but also give you a good line of sight at times. Obviously you can't always be there as the mercs sweep through a sector, but you should try to. Now right here, a little too cocky there, I think. I think cocky's the wrong word. Maybe a little too brazen, just going in there a little too fast with two mercs over there. And obviously, well, Sin turned around last second and was able to put me down, well aware that I had been charging in there. I'm sure I was popping up. All the, the alarms were raised on his motion tracking that I was in there, coming in a little bit too fast with a little bit too much fury in my eyes. And now you see Legion one more time, just that inexperience, right? And again, here you see the experience of Sin Life, as he was well aware of his teammate falling behind him, probably maybe heard the little blip on his motion tracking as well of the enemy spy coming in behind him, as he was just on the other side of the door. I was kind of caught unawares there, forced to scramble last second to try and get out of that fire, and failed pretty miserably at it. And at that point, it's always a good thing, not for me there, but for Sin. Once he put me down, once he knew that it was just one-on-one, him against the hacker in that sector, you can an experienced merc will handle that room with a little bit more confidence at that point, and he certainly did, and he tracked down Ryom and put him down, shed a little blood, and shut down that hack. Now with the firewalls reestablished in A, I'm in here picking up the hack, other end of the map, C terminal, smart play by me, and I set up here. I like this location, So long as I'm quiet, you know, I don't like Ryom coming in here making as much ruckus as he was, but that was kind of unavoidable. It was a good thing he didn't come up the stairs. I was kind of happy to see that. He kind of positioned elsewhere, you know, so he's not inadvertently drawing attention my way. I knew I was probably pretty safe. You know, the Mercs had been in the A sector. I knew that him charging in there really wasn't going to be a factor, and it wasn't. Now, anyway, as far as this location goes, I like it. You know, you're going to catch some Mercs that'll come right up here, ready with the melee bash, and even, you know what, when it does go down, I'm pretty sure the man that did come up here was probably getting ready to do one, and that's why I always say, if you're going up, it's a skilled player against skilled player. You got to try and, you know, get a little fancy. You got to be aggressive at those corners, you know, against guys that are players that are aggressive in nature, you know, that are looking to just kind of come around those corners. They're not taking any chances. You got to step out on them, and you'll probably get them. I don't know, maybe 7 times out of 10. That could be wrong, but just try and put it into effect. Don't always wait for your opponent to come around the corner on you. And there it is. You see, I get that smoke down. Kind of just to add a little bit of obscurity to the situation, you know, and get the slice and dice on the real threat in the area, Sin, you know. So with him down and with the hack, when I put him down at about 85%, I mean, it took him a long time to finally enter that area. And with me putting him down at that point, I'm pretty well guaranteed that this hack is going to come in. Alias Legion just not putting up much of a fight. However, he's still lurking in this area, you know. The man, I think that this guy, as long as he sticks with it, I think you'll see it across a few of our encounters, you know. It's just not all clicking yet, but he's got the skill. I mean, he avoided the smoke cloud. I don't know if he charged right on through it or just kind of sidestepped it, but he tracked me down, followed me there nicely, and, you know, he's not spraying wildly. He put me down pretty quickly once he had a good line of sight on me, you know. So good on him there. You can see that the guy is gonna be a decent player, but right now there was just too many. You know, I kind of felt for Sin in a way, because he even said, you know, I think had made a comment, a text comment at some point about the kind of the skill level of his teammate, and it's rotten when it goes down like that. But sometimes you just got to be able to try and hold your own out there, you know. So anyway, with 2 hacks done, and with the Ryom fallen here, and Sin posted up, you know, probably, I'm sure, keeping a good eye on the terminal. I'd try to get a little creative, you know, gonna have to put all the stops. Out come the sticky cams, you know. I went a little fast there to the EM, or I tried to go straight into the detonation really quickly, but you have to activate the cam first, and what I was doing was I was actually accidentally tossing out an EMP grenade with it, right? And it was actually a pretty decent strategy, and it pays off beautifully there. Things all worked out nicely, you know, from the zap hit and finding a flesh on Sin, to him having just dropped that ammo resupply, and apparently Legion needing a refill, you know, as they both kind of piled on top of it, and it just worked out beautifully. You know, I managed to scurry out of Sin's fire before he could put me down and trigger that sticky cam, and goddamn, that must have been a goddamn mess over there at the top of that stairwell, you know, just a big old pile of blood and brain and splintered bone and just innards and disgusting crap. Yes, as I liquefied those 2 Mercs over there. Anyway, now I'm setting up here. You know, you can see that Sin going down to the bottom level, checking those likely locations, you know, checking the dark corners in behind the servers and all that jazz. And I'm just kind of waiting here now. I'd been kind of waiting, watching. I knew that mine had been dropped by Sin when he first entered, and I was kind of toying with the idea of maybe waiting for Legion to come in. Just some bad luck, a little bit of bad timing there as I triggered the mine, or disabled the mine. Just a little bit too soon, you know. Just a matter of seconds too soon. I could have possibly taken him out. But I get Alias Legion's neck anyway. And then with a little bit of, you know, exposing myself to Sin over there. He was well aware. He was on the hunt. You know, I played it pretty nicely. Almost threw it all, you know, threw it all in the trash. All that great gameplay in the trash. Almost stepped on that mine inadvertently, but played it really well, you know. And you can see the friend request coming from Ryom. He obviously liked what he had seen from the Afterlife. Was a little impressed, you know. And you can see a comment coming in from Sin. Mate is so stupid. I think that's what that was supposed to be. But you know what? I just outplayed him there. I outplayed him. I had a really solid round, and that probably my best spy round on the classic side of things to date. You know, I was really impressed with that. I was amazed, and even Ryom, he left me a message. He said, "You're pro, man," and I said, "No, it was luck. There was some luck, especially with that double kill with the sticky cam. That was some luck. The fact that I was able to put myself into a position to take advantage of that luck, for the luck to be in my favor, well, that was some skill. But I had a better round than most, and just had a good overall round. And really, I think Sin, he had been in the previous round, and I knew that he was going to be, when I saw us get split up, he's already, I want to go out, he's typing in. And you know what, he is going to leave before this is all said and done. He puts in a good effort, but, it's kind of disappointing to see him go. Because he was a threat. He was elevating my game, because I knew he was a guy that had to be watched out for. So he's already got this hack going. He's going to give it a good effort anyway. I know what it feels like to be playing with a guy on your team who just is brand spanking new, He's still got that fresh car smell, He's still got that fresh Merc smell on him, you know what I'm saying? So I know what that's like. It's frustrating at times, and I don't think Alias was too much of a help to Sin throughout the course of this game, But Sin, he's got this hack going right now, and I'm kind of checking several locations. I get the smoke cloud up there, the VX gas toxic cloud up there. I'm listening for any coughing, and I was getting ready to make that sweep, and just luckily, I was cautious at the door, and that's how you should be in these shadows, You can't go rushing in there with your flashlight covered. You need to do a thorough check of those door spaces, those doorways, to make sure there's no spy lurking around the corner waiting for you to come around. And that's one of those instances. That's what I'm talking about with, you have to be aggressive at those corners. Had a Sin stepped out on me there, while I was kind of positioning myself to get a better line of sight on the that side of the doorway, he may have actually gotten the better of me there and gotten my neck. Anyway, Alias arriving really late to the party. I mean, my God, sir. Get on the ball, man. Get on the ball. Get your shit together. Arriving really late, and and it just cost him. And Sin's already picked up the hack here in the B sector, and I was a little nervous. I really didn't want to have to square off against him here. I knew that he would be doing a lot of shifting, most likely. And this is one of those sectors that, unless you're really working, I mean, either you get lucky and you spot him, a good spy, a good hacker, or if you don't work in unison in Classic in a sector like this, where the two guys, whether you're in communication or not, as a team, where two guys are really, you have to cover top and bottom levels. You have to do almost a synchronized sweep of the room to make sure that spy, that hacker, isn't shifting, isn't constantly cutting off the line of sight. So you have to, and that's, in this game mode in particular, two mediocre players who are in communication with one another will dominate, the best player in the game. I mean, that's just who is kind of working by himself. That's just the way it goes with this game. With this game mode, two guys that are communicating, that are calling out locations, that are sweeping sectors in sync, that are stacking up as spies, one playing the distraction while the other guy hacks, or setting up properly in locations where you can kind of bait mercs in, and the guy that's lurking in the shadows that's a little bit more hidden. Bait and snap. You've heard of the term bait and switch. This is the bait and snap the guy's neck. You bait him in, and then the second man, you go hunting those mercs down like a pack of raptors, right? Or something like that. But guys that are working together as a pair, that are communicating, communication not necessarily essential, but two guys that are really, it will certainly improve your game. Obviously, you'll be dominating that much more if you're communicating well. But two guys that are really working together well, and even if you can just kind of read what's going on screen, and fall into the proper position and work as a unit, you're going to have greater success than if you're just trying to go out there and be a hero, That's just the way it goes, and that's what can turn a lot of guys off from the Classic. I mean, it's tough getting a game over there on Uplay, in the Classic game mode. I mean, I see a lot of guys filter into these rooms, level 1, etc. So, and then you walk into a pair of guys that have the very similar names, both elite, right? And you'll get just stomped. You'll get stomped, right, by those two guys because they play together, they're communicating, they play well together, and they're just a wicked team, And that's the story of Classic. That's the way the old games used to play out. Two guys that play together all the time, would dominate if they were really good players, you know, on top of that. Anyway, a pretty close call there in the A sector. Sin playing it pretty nicely for the most part. Hopefully you guys were watching while I was ranting on about God. I don't even know what I was rambling on about at this point. But you know what? He put his sticky cam into effect. He really did some serious scrambling a couple of times there, and to put his sticky cam into effect, taking out Ryom. And I think he was still a little. He had just come out of his sticky cam when I spotted him up here on this upper level. And I don't think he had really been tracking me yet, you know, so that's kind of why I kind of caught him there like a deer in headlights. And right there, a beautiful grenade. Just, I had been kind of tracking his motion, you know, I knew he was up there. He was pushing through the door, trying to take out Ryom, and a little bit of a lucky toss with the grenade, but again, it's a situation where skill got it up there in the first place, and luck did the rest, you know, managed to turn Sin into a puddle one more time. Anyway, and he does some quick slicing and dicing on Ryom. Now, I know Alias Legion, yeah, there he is. He keeps me distracted here for a little while, but with that quick slice and dice on Ryom, you have to figure the way things have been going down over here in the A sector, that Sin was going to make a move for C, which he does, and he picks this hack up. Your time really winding down on them now with all 3 hacks in for my team, for myself and Ryom. You know, they really, you know, it would take him, he would have to pull in 3 clean hacks, you know, at this point. Just to tie it up, and he only really has enough time to do that, you know. So this is it. It's make or break time for him. As I make, you know, I just finally let Alias go. I didn't feel like tracking him any more thoroughly than I already had been, and I finally just pressed forward to the C sector to give Ryom a hand, as he's already making a sweep over there on the far left side of the room, and which is nice to see. You know, it kind of limits what I have to check. I now pretty confident where he may be. Now, if you noticed when I left the C sector after the last attack was initiated, I had put down a couple of mines. Now, with that grenade, you may wonder, how did I know he was up there, or why would I toss the grenade up there? If you rewind the vid, you will see his spy, was poking through. A little piece of it was clipping through that wall there, and I saw him, you know. And after the hit marker, the grenade did a little bit of damage, or the hit marker came up, it was confirmed that he was there, and I tracked him really beautifully through those back hallways, and even tracked him all the way down, you know, made the right call going down to the bottom level, figuring he was going to try and get tricky and sneaky about it, and I put him down, and he left. He rage quit. Rage quit initiated. Rage quit trigger. You know, he'd had enough. And you know what? And again, we've been there. We've all. I mean, for those of us that have played, we've all been there. After you've spent some time, you feel as though you're a pretty experienced player, and then you draw, you know, somebody who's a rook, just a clear as day rookie. You know, and you draw that guy, and you're just, it can be so frustrating when you're going up against a couple of decent players. You know. Because you're watching this guy play, he's being no real help to you, and I think that was really the case. I'm not defending the fact that he left. You know, he probably should have stuck it out at that point. He knew he couldn't come back and even tie it up, or even it was impossible at that point. He just finally had enough. He'd had enough. Maybe he thought it was a little questionable that I was able to track him down so well, but like I said, this was really not just one of my better spy rounds, but a really solid overall round in the classic gameplay for me. It was above average for me. I was making the right calls, the right decisions, and the gameplay came through, and a little bit of luck as well, you know. So, anyway, right here, now I didn't even really spot him on the first pass with the flashlight. Legion getting a great zap on me, and followed up with the second one. And this is where I say, you know, Legion, he's probably going to be a good player so long as he sticks with it, puts in a little bit more time. You know, he's on the mark with his accuracy, but he's not. It's not clicking what he needs to be doing. You know, in that situation, it was time to scramble. It was time, you know, you follow up that initial zap with maybe a smoke cloud or a flashbang, and you push forward on the pipe. You don't wait for your zap gun, your stun crossbow to reload. You either drop down and hightail it out of the doorway, you know, at the opposite end of the hallway that I was presently occupying, or you push in and you go in for the kill. You know, and to do that effectively, he had to pull out another gadget. He had to put the stun crossbow away, Smoke had to go down. Flashbang, EMP, all three would have been good, or a combination of two of those. And he may have been able to just kind of shimmy that that pipe, come in above me, and get a very sweet little death from above on me. But he just, it's not all clicking yet. That's too much for him at this point, I think, you know. And that's what happens when you're new to something. But I think eventually, so long as he strives to achieve that level, you know, to get to that level of gameplay, I think he'll attain it in time, you know. Just something about him. Anyway, I'd been tracking footsteps, and things kind of, the excitement seemed to dissipate after Sin left, you know. But you know, Alias Legion picking up this hack in the A sector and playing it a little poorly, you know. He tried to weasel his way up into that vent, but that takes him out of bounds for the hack. And you know, it was unconfirmed, but I did get the kill there. I don't know if y'all will hear it, but his weapon came tumbling down from that upper level, from that vent, all the way down to kind of the next level down, and there was just that one little blood stain left sitting at the top level of the vent. And I'm pretty sure that was a dome kill. That was a headshot takedown on him with the pistola. So pretty nice little finish, you know. Anyway, there it is, 300% to 83%. I know it looks completely one-sided, but of course Sin Life was in there for a better part of the round. And you know what? There will be. I do have several rounds of Classic now saved up. I'm going to have to go through them and see what's actually worth keeping. But this is the situation, you know. It's tough getting a Classic game going if you're just kind of sitting there waiting for the room to fill up. And it's tough riding the Classic game out. If you're dominating, it's tough to have it go kind of the full 20 minutes, you know. Guys end up leaving. I had that happen several times in a row where complete teams would just leave, you know. And it seems like there's a lot of like level 1s and 2s and 3s popping into these games, these Classic games, and that are brand new. And there's some of them are brand new, some of them are elite players that have simply reset the stats, but you know what? I'm just going to take what I can get, you know, for the Classic. I know some guys want to see it. If it's completely one-sided, well, I'm sure there will be a couple of them to come, so don't hate me for it. But, you know, pickings are kind of slim over there, and it's tough getting a game. So if y'all want to see some of the Classic, that's what I'm going to have to settle on at some of the time. This was pretty evenly matched for the most part, you know. Sin, unfortunately, he had enough. He was getting outplayed and left. Anyway, let's take a look. There it is. I mean, really, just the only numbers worth mentioning. 3 hacks, all 3 hacks coming in. 5 defense, 17 and 3. Just beautiful. A beautiful round, and I was really happy with that. Probably the best Classic I've gotten to date, like I said. So I thought I'd throw it out here first and let you all chew on that sucker right there. So, guys, ladies and gents, thanks for stopping by, tuning in. I hope you're happy with the Classic. Or at least I hope some of you are happy with it. I think I'll try and maintain a mix, you know, Classic and Blacklist. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for stopping by one more time. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll thumb it. I hope I'll see you in the next one. But until then, remember why it hurts. Later.